Alright, what is going on, everybody? Quancredible here to bring you the review for Black Clover chapter 260. This chapter is weird just because it came out on a Monday, so like hopefully I can get it out at a good time so you guys can see it quickly. But yeah, so one of the things I really enjoyed about this chapter before I really get into like the review is like granted Tabata typically does 15 pages as of like more recently-ish, like this year. But I like the fact that this chapter really progressed everything. Like it wrapped everything up for the most part. Like, I mean, like you may be thinking, well, duh, he wrapped it up. The fight with Dante was over. So yeah, of course, it would only make sense for this to get wrapped up. But when you really look at it, this could have easily been 2 chapters. Like this could have been like them struggling against Zenon in one whole 15-page chapter, and then Zenon dealing with him and escaping like this. So I'm really happy this was one chapter and it just basically wrapped up everything. So to start out, it starts, you know, Dante's defeated or whatever. Asta's passing out. Yami's holding him up like, yeah, you did good. And then, I mean, honestly, this was amazing. Like reading it or like my first time through, I felt like really good. Like I was like, yeah, okay, it's over. They beat him. You know, still have my reservations about Dante losing the way he did, but I mean, I could make a video on that later. Anyway, after that, you know, like the remainder of the Black Bulls that were there are running up, minus Henry. Henry didn't run up, but like Vanessa and Finral did. Gray hugs Gauch or whatever because he comes back too. One little small thing I noticed is that Gauch, like he said, "Hey Gray," and it's a period. So like the sentence was over, but I almost kind of think he was going to say something. Like I'm not for sure what he was going to say, but he could have actually gave like a genuine thank you. Because if you look at it, Ghost really doesn't thank people all like that. He kind of just does whatever he wants. Or he could have had like a legitimate compliment for Gray, but it just got cut short. So I really do want to know what he was going to say in that moment, but I mean, we'll just have to worry about that later. So at this moment where Yami was getting ready to like bind up Dante, like as we know, Yami has all kinds of spells in his group, including binding ones. I believe he used one or was going to use one on Partridge. I can't remember if he actually got it off or not. But in this moment, like Zenon opens up a portal like directly next to Yami's face, and he's just like standing there, just staring at him, just like menacingly. And when I seen the spoilers, like this was the first panel that I seen, and like I got that weird like chest sink feeling. I don't know exactly what the name of that is or what emotion that is, but I got like that feeling like, oh dang, like that y'all won, but not really at the same time. So as soon as he pops out, he just immediately skewers Yami with his bones, like the same thing he did to William, or the same thing we've seen that happened to William. Which I wouldn't necessarily put this as a knock against Yami or anything. Like it's not like oh Zenon like blitzed him, or it's not like Zenon outsped him. It's more of definitely like a surprise attack. I mean, you can make the argument that with Ki and Monozone he should be able to sense something like that, since you can typically sense Spatial Mage's portals and whatnot. But this was like the fight was over, Dante was down, of course Yami's guard is going to be down, like he's in no real like danger, at least to him in this moment. So of course he's like not gonna be paying attention all like that. So with that, he gets like skewered up and he says like, oh, I messed up. And this is even like furthering like what I believe of he was just like he let his guard down. So he also says like he can't move. So like this, I interpreted this a couple of different ways. I mean, one, you could think of it like, oh, Yami's tired from his fight. So he's like wounded, he's injured, he's low on mana, that's why he can't move. But like, Yami never stated to be like low on mana, or like never, I mean, granted he did push past his limits of like more or less endurance and stamina in my opinion, but like I feel like he can still do spells. Like I feel like in this state he should still be able to do spells. I mean, granted most of his stuff is centered around his sword and he didn't have his sword at this moment, but he should have something. I mean, like, granted like the black hole wouldn't have done anything in that scenario, but I feel like he can still do things, which is leading me into the second thing that I think. And I feel like Zenon's bones have like a secondary effect to them, or an extra effect. I don't know if it'd be secondary or just an extra effect. Like I feel like when his bones pierce you, they do something to you that make you incapable of moving, like, or have some type of effect along those lines, because it just seemed really odd that Yami was like, oh, I can't move. And like, because it seems like in this moment he should still have some energy to do something, or to be able to at least struggle or something. I mean, I could be looking too much into it, and he could have actually just been tired and low on magic and couldn't move for that reason. But I really feel like there may be another layer to Zenon's bones that we don't know yet. Whether it be he can just affect your bones once he pierces you with his own, which would be crazy broken, or if he has some type of like neurotoxin in there or something along the lines where it paralyzes you, or just like makes it to where you actually physically can't move your body because of how he pierces. It could be so many different things. Or like I said, I could be looking too much into it. Let me know what you guys think, if I'm crazy on that one, or if you guys also feel like there may be something else to it. Also, in this moment, I almost like glossed right over it. Like, the portal that like Zenon came out of, I just think I really enjoy, like not necessarily enjoy, I just think that is like, it looks cool. And this basically confirms, or not confirms, well, yeah, it basically does confirm Zenon's like secondary magic type is a form of spatial or dimension based magic, however you would like to like think of it. And this could also be what he did to Yuno. Like, he could have pulled Yuno into this dimension when he did that, like that box thing. He could have did that to Yuno. That, you know, is very possible for what could have happened. And this also explains how he made it into the Golden Dawn base, which is like, I mean, the Golden Dawn base isn't super deep into the kingdom. Like, it's not in the capital or anything. It's actually quite a ways away. If you remember, it took Yami quite a while to fly from the Golden Dawn base all the way to the capital, but he was still able to do it. But it's still like a decent distance away. So the fact that he was able to, you know, teleport, or not teleport, but make a hole from wherever he was to there is pretty impressive. Actually, the fact that he was able to make a portal from the Golden Dawn base all the way to where they are is actually pretty impressive. But we don't know if he took a break or stops in between there. I mean, this is all assuming that all of this stuff is happening at the exact same time, being the raid on the Heart Kingdom, the raid on the Golden Dawn base, and Dante investigating Yami. To me, I have no reason to believe that this wouldn't all be happening at the same time. It would make a lot of sense for them to like, all right, we're going to carry out our plan, we're all going to attack right now, catch everybody off guard. Like, that to me is how it would be. So it makes more sense for everything to be happening at the same time, which would be like, he just finished his business at the base, and then like he said, he was sensing some like disturbances, and then he went over there. That is what, you know, what I believe happened, because that, to me, it makes the most sense. So of course Finral notices that, you know, William's captured too. So basically they have everything they need for their plan, and then Zenon like uses his bones to like gently lift up Dante to like pick him up. He says, "You said all that and then lost. You're hopeless," which is interesting to me, because it makes me wonder, what is he referring to? Is he referring to what Dante said to him? Could it have been something that Dante may have said right before the attack that we didn't get to see? Could he be referring to a different conversation? Because like, outside of, you know, 6 months ago when he told Zenon to wait, that's the only real conversation or like interaction we really know of. The only interaction that we know of between Zenon and Dante as readers, at least. I mean, we could assume they, you know, have all kinds of conversations and interactions, but as far as what we know, what we've seen, that's all we've seen. So he could have been referring to something else. But it's at this moment that like Zenon looks over and he sees Asta, and he sees like how his arm is all like just black and all that. And Zenon appears to at least be smart, or at least I would believe him to at least just not be dumb. I'm assuming he knew that this had something to do with like a devil or something. So he immediately goes to like attack Asta, or not really attack. I really think he was going for a kill here, just because with Zenon, it seems like all of his attacks, outside of when he's restraining someone, they typically seem to be like he's going for a kill. But Finral uses his like spatial magic to like open up a portal and just like make it pass through like both of them. And then Zenon's interested, like, oh, spatial man, cool, neat. I wonder what this guy can do. Well, he didn't say that, but I'm pretty sure he might have thought that. And then we get this like scene where like, or panel where like his arm that's like outstretched has the bone sticking out of it, it like trembles a little bit, and he thinks of Yuno, and he says like, oh, it's a good thing I took care of him, which is interesting, because like, what did he mean by that? Like, you could take it how some people do, where like when he clashed with Yuno to break through his sword of Zephyr, or even like possibly when they were fighting in that other dimension, he might have sustained a slight damage, like very, very slight damage, at least enough to remember, you know, and he's just thinking like, oh, it's a good thing that I took care of him. Or it could be something even deeper where like he can recognize some type of connection between Asta and Yuno, so saying like it's a good thing I took out the other half of this pair. Like granted, he would have no way of knowing that they have some type of connection, but like it could be something like that, which would be really interesting. And then even his words after that saying I'd rather take this one out as well, like that makes me think that he's referring to a second thing, like a like, oh, I want to take care of this as well, I want to do this also. Like it just makes it sound like he really wanted to take out Asta. Or he could have been talking about Finral. It's very possible he could have been referring to, oh, this spatial mage is going to be dangerous, but I really don't think he was referring to Finral. I do think he was referring to Asta. Let me know what you guys think about that one. Like, was he just referring to the damage that he may have taken fighting Yuno, or do you guys think there could be some extra connection between Asta and Yuno that Zenon might have picked up on? Anyway, he's basically like, yeah, I'm out though, you know, I don't got time, we have everything we need, and I'm assuming they have somewhere to be, I guess, because I mean, as we've seen with Zenon, he kind of just tends to take care of business and get out of there. He doesn't really play a lot. Very different from the other two, but the Black Bulls are like not having it. Like Henry flies in on the Black Bulls base. Freaking Ghost does his mirrors with the refrain, I want to say it is, to try to stop him. He just like deals with all of that with like, it was just absolute ease. It was in this moment that Asta reaches inside of his like self and talks to his anti-magic devil again, which I definitely did not expect them to talk again, like especially anywhere in the immediate future. Never seen that coming at all. But he's basically asking him for more power. And he's like, said, one, in the first place, you're just messed up. You can't even move, so I can't even do anything. And two, he says he can't make any more contracts with it, which that one's kind of interesting. Like basically, he's like saying you're too weak and it's your own fault for being weak. So this makes me think like what the stipulations necessarily are for a contract, because you would think it would be pretty easy just to like, because like in my mind, or at least how Zagrid made it seem, the word devil, he made it seem like that Asta, or not Asta, that the anti-magic devil could possibly be able to take over Asta's body, like just entirely. So you would think with Asta in this weakened state, this would have been a prime opportunity for him to do something like that. Or even the first time Asta went black form, he was saying, like the anti-magic devil was saying, just let me like have control, you know, just like slip away into unconsciousness and I'll take care of everything. Like it's almost like he was trying to convince Asta to give up his entire body. So it's like, and in that moment, Asta was significantly weaker than he is now. So it's like, what is different about this type of contract or this kind of thing that was, you know, that wasn't present then? Because if anything, Asta should be stronger than he was then. I mean, it's like way farther into the series, but yeah, he basically tells Asta he's 2 weeks, so I can't do anything. And then you know, Vanessa tries to shoot Rouge over there. Looks like Zenon just like smacks the cat back. I think I want to say Rouge can be actually touched. Like I want to say you can physically affect the actual cat itself, which is interesting because I feel like a lot of people overlook that, because there was that one instance where the Witch Queen was going to make Asta's sword swing and like hit Rouge, but like Rouge like separated her body so she wouldn't get a hit. I mean, outside of that being anti-magic, so it would have dispelled her, but like you could make the sound argument that if you just actually shot Rouge with a blast of magic, she would disappear. Like Vanessa would have to resummon her, which may or may not take a ton of mana. I mean, this isn't a Rouge video, so I'm not even gonna start to get into all that. But essentially from there, Yami gives them this like super sad look. It is so like he's smiling or whatever, but like he says no words. Like he doesn't even say anything. He just looks like, yeah, you guys tried. We did our best. I'm sorry, but you know, I'm basically captured. Like he just gives them that look, and then they just like, and then Zenon just like walks through the portal. And you just get Asta screaming on the ground, like Captain Yami, and all this there. It's just like his sword. I'm just like, oh, that was so sad. Like that was just so sad. It was just such a sad moment for me. And it's one of those things where from the beginning, I've been saying it wouldn't make sense unless Yami gets captured at the end of this. Yami has to get captured for this to all to make sense. It would just be pointless for Dante to fight and them not capture Yami. I've been saying this for the longest, but when it finally happened, I was bummed. Like I was like, dang, dude, they really captured him. I was like, wow, he really actually got captured. Like, so you know, sad moment. So the spade basically has everything they need for their plan. Not exactly for sure how this works from here. Like, I'm assuming, like, if I had to take a random guess to use the tree to connect the world, and I guess the dark dimension slash would open it, or dark magic opens it some kind of way. I don't know how they expect Yami to use most of his spells or magic, because he doesn't have his sword. That's typically what he uses. So that'll be interesting. Or maybe it's like spells that they both have to learn, similar to how, like, when Noelle had to train to learn the sea dragon's cradle or whatever to get to the underwater sea temple. Like, maybe they're going to force them to learn something to do this with. But yeah, and that's the chapter. So, like, I want to say next week we're on break, which is unfortunate. Like, of course, this all wraps up and we're on break. So we have to wait 2 weeks for us to see, like, where we're going to go next. And as for where we are going to go next, it's really open from here. Like, because all of the 3 plot lines with the Dark Triad members, at least for this exact moment, are wrapped up. Like, of course, we have way more stuff to talk about with them, but like for the immediate issue at hand, they're all just done. So from here, we could go back to the Spade Kingdom with the Dark Triad having captured the 2 arcane state. Whoa, I almost hit myself in the face. We can go back to the Spade Kingdom with the Dark Triad, because they've already captured their 2 arcane mages. So we could see, like, they could progress with their plans. There's also the Black Bull member that we don't know who it is. Could be the vice captain, could not be. We could go back to him in the Spade Kingdom, and maybe he could see them getting there, and, you know, like relay that information back to the Clover Kingdom, or go to the Black Bulls and, like, you know, tell them exactly where he is and what's going on. We could go to the Heart Kingdom and see if they escaped, or if there were more casualties from those 5 really big explosions. We could go straight to the Clover Kingdom, and, like, people could know about this, like other captains could know. There's just a lot of places we could really go with this. Heck, even we could just start right back where we left off, with, like, Asta laying on the ground, and just have to go from there. Like, there's just so many places it could go from here. So it's pretty open, like how Tabata has it set up. Definitely still think Yami's sword is going to go inside of Asta's grimoire. Just, like, throwing that out there, just because a lot of people seem to think it's going to go in, like, a scabbard. It's going to be like a physical thing in the real world, but I just see no reason why it can't go in there. Like, me personally, I just don't see a reason why not. Plus, another reason, Yami kind of had the scabbard with him, so there's that. Like, so it really can't go inside of a scabbard, and you can't just have, like, a just straight katana just sitting out. I may make a video on the katana saying, like, what I think it may be, or what it can do, as far as, like, what properties of the sword this will be, like, almost like a prediction video. So that's, like, in the future. Yeah, but let me know down below how you guys feel about this chapter. If you guys liked it, if you didn't like it, where you guys think we're going next. Me personally, I think this chapter was really good. It was, like, as close to a 10 out of 10 for me. I mean, I, like, never give chapters 10 out of 10, just because I just feel like there's no such thing as a perfect chapter to me. But this chapter was definitely, like, as close, like 9.99999 for me, just because we got so much progression, and the wrap up finally after that kind of a slog of being with Dante. You know, it did kind of drag. So, like I said, let me know down below how you guys are feeling about all that stuff. Don't forget to like and sub to the video. I greatly appreciate all of the support every time you guys comment, to make me extremely happy, and some things you guys say is really funny or just really interesting. But I'm not going to talk anymore because I'm starting to ramble. So I will catch you guys later.